Hey guys, good evening. My name is Salud, and welcome to our exclusive live podcast. And actually, today is very special. You've been asking me about the situation or what the Japanese think about the Marlon Tapales and Naoya Inoue fight, even Casimero versus Oguni. And right now, tonight, we're gonna have an answer straight from one of my friends in Japan who obviously know about boxing. Is the host or the owner of KT Cast YouTube channel, so you might want to check that out. So I'm gonna speak in Filipino a little bit. Ang kausap po natin ngayon ay isa po sa pinakamagaling nating YouTuber na kaibigan from Japan. He knows about Inoue, he knows about Japanese and big fights, no? Boxing fights. So join me here. Alamin natin kung gaano kasikat si Casimero. May pag-asa ba si Casimero makalaban si Inoue? Ha? You're one of your questions, and I get a lot of hate from this. Does Casimero actually have a chance of fighting Inoue now? Maybe after the Palace. All of that question, we'll talk about it, and I'll have my friend Shin discuss to you his point of view on this one. Again, my name is Salud from Powcast Sports. Please stay tuned. And after the intro, I will have Shin with me and we can get on with the conversation right away. Are you guys ready? Please share, like, and comment because you know what? Here comes the boom, boom, pow.
The views and opinions expressed on this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. The individual views of the guests are their own and does not reflect the channel's opinion. We respect everyone's opinions and comments, however, we ask everyone to be respectful and understanding to each other. Let's have a healthy conversation to promote the sports we all love. This video is copyrighted to Powcast Sports. If you wish to use part of this content, you may do so by getting less than a minute footage and by following the fair usage policy guidelines, or send an email to inquiry@powcast.net. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you.
Powcast Sports. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. This video is presented by sportsplus.ph. All right, konbanwa, my friend. Shin, good evening to you.
Konbanwa, good evening. Thank you for having me on your channel.
I'm excited to have you here. I got a lot of questions for you regarding the Japanese scene, and obviously, Filipinos and Japanese has been fighting in boxing for quite some time, and you've been covering boxing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel so we could promote them right away? Or
Right,
you got
okay.
two channels, just one now?
I actually have two channels. I have one
Okay.
called Family Time FT, where it's more the content is more produced, so you probably won't be seeing my face, but what I do is I break down the techniques of boxers and kind of explain how the fight went, how the fight played out, how he landed the KO punch, that kind of content. And then I have another one which is more along the lines of what you're doing, which is like a podcast or interview, that kind of content. And I was fortunate enough to have some of the Filipino legend boxers like Casimero himself. Donaire was on
Yeah.
once.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I have two channels, and they're pretty much both mainly about boxing.
You had the Tapales yet?
I have
No?
not had Tapales. Does he speak English?
I think he can. He can understand. So,
Right.
so you had Casimero, so I think Tapales
Right.
could do it. But you
That's
got the Donaire, and I think I was on your show as well. I don't
That's
remember
right.
when
That's
it was.
right. Yeah. It was a
I-
while ago. It was a while ago.
Yeah, we were talking about the Donaire fight. It seems like it's been a while, and now it's still in a way. That's what we're gonna be talking about. I want to go straight ahead if you don't mind, because I got
Let's
you
do
for
it.
an hour. And guys, those watching right now live, this is live. It's October 30, 8:04 p.m. Manila time. It's 9:04 in Japan. If you have questions, especially if it's about Inoue and the Palace, please have them on the comment section. Shin, I guess I want to go right in. I sent you this, but Tapales versus Inoue.
Yes.
Um, when this was first announced, what did you think about this fight?
Well, I mean, pretty much the same as most of Inoue's fights. It's just it's not gonna be very competitive, probably. I mean, that was the
Oh.
cool thing about Fulton versus Inoue. It was like there was several factors that made it exciting, such as Inoue is going up in a weight class. How is he going to deal with the power or the size of the super bantamweight boxers? So there was that drama along with the lines of within the super bantamweight. Fulton was probably the top of the top. Even he was the strongest, and second was Akhmadaliev, but Akhmadaliev lost the top on his right. So
Mhm.
it kind of just went up the weight class, beat the top guy, and it's kind of almost hard for me to think about an opponent that could stand against him, even though he just moved up in a weight class.
So wait a minute.
So
You're saying that the Inoue and Fulton fight, from the Japanese point of view, that was also a mismatch, even if
uh,
Inoue is going up in weight.
most of the Japanese fans did think Fulton wasn't going to stand a chance, and there was a good portion of like the more kind of hard fans that kind of looked at Fulton's fights, looked at his credentials, and saw that he potentially could be a problem for Inoue. But it was really split like in half. It was very interesting in that sense
Mm-hmm.
because we have a lot of just Inoue fans. They're not particularly boxing fans, but they love
Yeah.
Inoue.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are what they just think Inoue is pretty much invincible, and he's probably going to be. I mean, no one can beat him besides like Gervonta Davis or something. You got to go like that high up to find a
Yeah.
match for him. And then there's
He
the other
looks
half that just love
invisible though.
boxing. Yeah, he
He looks
does. That's
invisible. He looks so good against Fulton. It's probably in the
mhm,
Philippines, the way we view it. Of course, we love Inoue here. I think
mhm.
we know he's great. But obviously the people that are betting on Fulton are the Americans. The Americans feel that
Mm, mm,
Fulton
mm,
is
mm.
much more favored. They were wrong there. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
that's a we don't have to talk about that because man, that fight with Fulton Inoue is, I don't know who can beat him. Now with Tapales, in the Philippines, we recognize that Tapales is the underdog. I mean, I recognize that, but obviously we give him a chance. In Japan, what do you think is the percentage or like the odds of Tapales and Inoue?
The percentage of Tapares winning.
Yeah, well, you give me an odds. You
Okay.
got to be frank
Okay.
with me
Well,
because I wanted to hear. Tapales and his team is
well,
probably gonna be listening to this too.
okay. This is the thing. The official odds, I think, at the moment is like 1.07 for Inoue. So,
Okay.
I mean, right? And then I think that's being generous because I think like Tapares pretty much has no chance of winning. It's more along the lines of is Tapares, can he last 36 minutes with Naoya? Can he make it to the decision? Is kind of how I think me and most of the Japanese fans are looking at this fight, which is very disrespectful to be honest, but it's just that is that good. So maybe a 1% chance Tapares can take it.
1% chance.
1% chance.
Wow.
There would
Wow.
have to be some kind of major accident, an accident for it
But
to
you know
actually
what? In the
lose.
Philippines, well, we know he's an underdog, but to give him 1%, that's a little bit disrespectful for us, bro. I
All
mean,
right, well
Marlon Tapales did
let me
beat
turn the gun.
Akhmadalev.
Yes, he did. But Afadalif is
Yeah.
not now. Yeah, let's be clear. Can we agree
Why
on
do you
that?
think? Why do you think? Why do you think that Inoue is so invincible that you give him 99% of winning this one? What does Inoue have that Tapales doesn't, or what would be the main thing why Inoue would win?
He has speed, technique. He's very explosive. I think he has almost every advantage I could think of over Tapares. I bet he's taller. His reach is probably longer as well, if I'm
I,
correct.
with the height, I don't think so. I think
Oh
Tapales is
no,
bigger.
Tapares is a bit bigger.
Tapales is
Okay,
bigger.
right. Well, this is the thing. It's not gonna matter. Let me turn the gun over to you. How is Tapales gonna beat Inoue? What's that? What's your percentage, and how would you think it would go down if Tapales was to win?
I was looking forward to learning more about Inoue, actually.
Okay.
Because
Okay,
I think,
so
but you know what? I could share something with you. I think Tapales understand that he's the underdog in this one, and he's very motivated. For once, it is not on the statistics, but I think that the motivation factor of the Filipino, especially Inoue, has beaten a number of Filipinos, even Filipinos legends, and we've been 0 to like every Filipino that Inoue has fought, he defeated. Well, actually, everyone, regardless of the nationality.
yes.
So, Marlon Tapales is being extra motivated with this one. I believe that yes, Inoue may be faster. I actually would agree with you with that. He has the power punch, but I think Tapales also have power. Um, I would be frank with you that if this goes to a decision, that Inoue would most probably win. So if it's me, if you're asking me how Tapales would win this one, he gotta go give it all and kill and be killed. Like he wanna go for the kill. Because if he plays safe on this one, and like what happened to Stephen Fulton, I think he was playing safe until he got caught.
Right.
But I just wanted to remind you though that there was a fight in Japan, a heavy underdog. I don't know if you know this. One of the baddest boxer who fought in Japan. He was a favorite. He's not a Japanese, but it happened in Tokyo Dome, I believe. I don't know. I don't know if you remember. Uh, Tyson versus Douglas.
Yes, of course.
He was
Of
a
course.
yeah. It was a heavy underdog. So we were like leaning towards that storyline, motivating him.
Right.
But honestly, the how I see the Palace winning is just he gotta risk it. Get puncher and be punched. So we gotta know if he can take the punch of Inoue.
Right. I mean, no one's been able to take the punch of Inoue, which is
Well,
um
I can argue that. No need to deny had in the first fight.
it's true he has that it's true he made it he made it to the decision, but not the second time. And it seems like the rematch with Donaire is when he kind of stepped it up to the next level. I think everyone was surprised at his performance that day.
Yeah,
Because the fight
but
before that was Jason Maloney. He had some like not such impressive performances leading up to that, and that's where it seemed as though he just got
yeah,
became
yes,
Superman overnight,
leveled up,
right. So that's where we're at
better,
now,
stronger, faster.
right? Yes,
Yeah, I understand he's going into his prime, but at the same time, the Palace is well. I respect Nonito. I love him so much, but he's like over the hill coming with
Mm-mm-mm.
fighting with Nonito Denier with Inoue.
The rematch, yes.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, leading up to the rematch, Donaire knocked out two undefeated younger champions.
Who was
So
that?
how can he
Hmm.
Ubali
Ubali.
and Raymart Gabalio,
Yeah,
both
but
undefeated, both champions of the world, and he knocked them out within 4 rounds, I believe. So how can you
correct.
say that Donaire was over the hill when it seemed like his performances leading up to that fight were spectacular?
Well, obviously, we saw that on the fight, and that's the last fight is where I'm gonna. But if you see Nonito Denier fight, like when he was really younger, he could
Mhm.
take the punches. He
Of
could
course.
probably take the punch. I mean, I would say he still got the power. Still got the speed, but to absorb power like that from no, he may have lasted a little bit. He still got the like he's willing to take the punch, but he couldn't
Mhm.
take it. That's the problem.
Yes.
No, if
Yes.
he was younger, then it might be a little bit. He might last a little bit long. I'm not saying he's
Right.
gonna win because in a way it's different, but
Right.
he might be able to recover faster because he couldn't recover.
Yeah.
Now
He
with
did.
Marlon Tapales is in his prime, so I'm hoping really this is one of the thing because obviously fighting boxing you gotta get hit. So
Right.
it's impossible you don't get hit. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that Marlon Tapales will be able to accept at least some punches and get some, or hit Naoya Inoue, and that's how he's gonna win, because obviously there's no winning in decision. And I'm not talking up, but because mostly when you go outside your country, you're
Hmm.
fighting on the other promotions. Most of the time,
Hmm.
you need to get a knockout.
Right. It's true. It's true. But
I will
I mean,
ask you this though,
okay.
because it seems like it's easy, and I know you're gonna support. It seems like it's easy for you to say that Naoya Inoue is gonna win.
Mhm.
You say there's no chance. Let me just I just want to pick your mind. If
No,
there is a
I said there
chance
was
that,
a 1% chance. See, there's
yeah,
a
yeah. Well,
1% chance.
how you're from the media, you're a blogger, so I want to ask you this: if the Palace is gonna win, aside from the injury you just mentioned, what kind of style you think would beat Inoue?
Beaten Inoue.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually thinking it would be a guy that can outpoint him, like Fulton, but
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't really the case. So
Yeah.
it's got to be someone with a significant advantage in something, which means he has to go another weight class up. Someone with a lot bigger than him, someone that has a lot more power than him, but they need some kind of unfair advantage, so to speak, to beat him. In a fair fight, it just seems like there's no one that can stand against him at this particular moment.
Yes.
Someone that can
Yes.
take his shots is definitely a must. So someone very tough, which is not, sorry, probably not Tapales, because Tapales has been finished in his career
Mm-hmm.
already.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen him go down to lesser power punchers than Inoue. So history would say that he can't take Inoue's power and
You think
shots.
anyone in the 122 can beat Inoue?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I
no
think the
one.
guy who would give him the most competitive fight is, well, actually, I don't think anyone could give him a competitive fight, but Luis Neri would be a great one to watch. There's a lot of drama there, especially from the Japanese boxing community. I don't know if you're aware, but the Japanese boxing fans, they hate Luis Neri with a vengeance. Like, it's
Yeah,
unreal how
there was
much they
some
dislike him.
issues. There was some drama in the past, right? Like, what was that again? When Neri mentioned
Yamanaka
something.
Shinsuke. There was Yamanaka Shinsuke, who was this Japanese bantamweight champion. I think he defended his titles 12 or 13 times. And then Luis
Mm-hmm.
Neri came and beat him. But after the fight, I think he tested positive for some banned
Yes, yes.
substances. And then, so his belt was taken away. And then they had a rematch right after that. And then what happened was Luis Neri was overweight by like some ridiculous amount. I think it's like 2 kilos, or 1.5 kilos. And then he beat Yamanaka Shinsuke again. Both times were by knockout. So that's why the
Oh,
Japanese
that's
fans
why
hate
you want
Luis
to get
Neri.
back.
He's actually banned from fighting in Japan by the JBC, but the boxing
I heard
community.
that. I heard that.
That's how much the Japanese fans hate Luis Neri. So if
So
Luis
how is it
Neri,
gonna happen if he's banned?
they'll make an exception for it for this fight.
Just for him to get
It's
beaten by
just,
Inoue.
yeah, it's so much money, and they're pretty confident that it can knock him out. It won't be a competitive fight, but the build up would be spectacular, and
Yeah,
everyone's gonna
you just
fucking
want to
love
get
that fight.
back.
I mean,
Okay.
Luis Neri plays the part. He's the villain, and he talks shit. He's
Yes.
like, he kind of does the Casimero a little
Yeah.
bit too. So it'll be great, but that won't be competitive. So I don't think anyone in super band. Getting back to your question, I don't think anyone in the super bantamweight can stand against Inoue.
Since the rise of Inoue, I mean, Inoue has taken the spot of the best boxer in Asia since Manny
Mhm,
Pacquiao.
mhm.
So I heard that Inoue is popular there. I've been to Japan and I know he's popular, but is he considered the Manny Pacquiao of Japan, like the best of the best, or not
The
yet?
well, he's considered the best of the best. He's just head and shoulders above all the champions, including Ioka,
Mm-hmm.
Nakatani Junto, Teraji Kenshiro. Like,
Gotcha.
he's so ahead of them that these other champions that are great don't get any love from the Japanese fans.
Yeah,
That's
well,
kind of the
it
case
happened to
right now.
us. Like the same thing with Manny Pacquiao when it was his era. Like it was so far ahead. The gap between the popularity and the attention and the love, the fans. You can't blame them because Inoue is really something special. But I want to go ahead and ask you with this final question about the Tapales and Inoue. I want to ask you about other things. I'm sure the fans wanted to ask about Casimero, but at the end of the day, how do you see the fight ending with Tapales and Inoue?
It kind of depends on Tapales, right? How is he going to fight? If he's going to fight the way you suggested, then I think it'll be a short night. I think, you know,
Mm-hmm.
finish him pretty early. But I don't think that's going to happen. He's a smart boxer. He's a veteran. So any boxer would rather lose a decision than getting knocked out is kind of,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, a fact. So I think it's going to go more of the line along the lines of the Butler, you know, at the end of the day. But
Butler full time.
Butler, just kind of defending and just trying to make it to the decision. Except I do think Tapales is levels ahead of Butler, and he's
That's true. I
tougher.
agree.
So if he decided that he wanted to just make it to the decision, he's gonna be able to do it, and you know is not gonna be able to stop him.
Okay. How if I don't know if this you can answer that. If how big is this if we see an upset?
Oh,
How big is this? If
that would be the biggest upset in a
is it the biggest upset in Japan?
long time. In Japan, definitely. In Japan, definitely. No, I don't know about all boxing because the Tyson Buster Douglas fight, as you mentioned, was in Japan. But as far as
Mhm.
Japanese boxing, a Japanese boxer being upset, then yeah, it would be insane. Yeah.
If I say that Tapales can knock out Inoue, would you agree with me? Like
Anyway,
let's say for example, I could see that I like what we've always saying here because Inoue has so much advantage. The only thing we see here, like we want to go to that eye, that orbital eye socket that was damaged. Is it? You think it's possible when I say knockout because that's the only way that I'm seeing Tapales win, knockout Inoue. Because
well, anyone,
I go ahead.
anyone could be knocked out, as I'm sure you've been watching boxing a long time. Anyone
Yes.
can be knocked out. They just have to let their guard down for an instant. It's just it's a sport of like milliseconds, right? So you know if he just loses focus for a insignificant moment and Tapales was just on point and he lands that punch, anyone can be knocked out. But that's kind of why I think is not going to lose to Tapales is because he's not that kind of boxer. Like you mentioned the Tyson Buster Douglas fight, but what I don't know if you're aware
He's
of
not
the
taking this
backstory, but
lightly.
Tyson was just partying in Japan the whole time.
That's what I heard.
Right?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
But
So
Inoue
is
is
a
focused on
different
this one
animal. He's
because
kind of like,
you guys, all of you guys are saying that 1% chance. It seems like the boxer who felt like everyone's talking about is gonna win. Does he is he focused? Is he training well? What's happening? Because we don't really have that much of news because especially it's in Japan. We don't. It's not all informations. But can you tell us something?
well, I don't have any inside information because Inoue is one of those boxers that they kind of went above the sport as far as in Japan. There's a couple of them
Mm-hmm.
in the States, like Mayweather. He's not just a boxer, right? He's kind of beyond boxing, and Mike Tyson is one of those. They're kind of idols. There's like
Yes.
characters known all over the world, and in Japan, Inoue is kind of one of those. So, I don't have any inside information, but he is one of
He's
those
a
guys that
household
are,
name in Japan, so he's not
yeah,
just a
but
boxer.
he is also, I believe, a very disciplined in his training. He's kind of like the Mayweather, along the lines of Floyd Mayweather in that way, where they love boxing, right? They live the lifestyle. They don't go partying. They
Yeah.
don't do drugs. They don't outdrink alcohol. They don't miss
Good
up.
for him.
He's kind of one of those inhuman kind of characters. So I don't believe an upset is going to happen.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that it would happen, but it would take a miracle, and we're gonna be praying a lot for Marlon Tapales. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we can. I've been to that. I've been to the gym of Naoya, and
Oh,
it's yeah. I didn't see him. I saw the brother Takuma. It's too bad that the fight of Takuma and Jeremy Nangkahas, the former champion of the Philippines, is not gonna happen because of injury. But I want to switch this one to one of the infamous or popular topic here in the Philippines. I want to ask you. By the way, do you have anything to add on the Tapales Inoue? Before, I guess I'm gonna ask you about the Casimero Oguni, if it's okay.
has Tapales talked about this fight? What's his
Yeah,
has he said what did he say? What is he thinking?
yeah. So he said, "Good, thank you for asking me." He said he's gonna be the worst nightmare of Naoya Inoue, but of course, obviously, But he's been training in the U.S. and I believe that he's gonna come here to the Philippines to train in the northern part of the Philippines where it's a little bit cold. So it's closer to Japan. But he recognized that he's the underdog. I may have an interview with him soon. I'm gonna visit him on his training camp up north. But he did say that he's gonna be the worst nightmare of Inoue playing with his moniker. You know his moniker,
Yeah,
the
yes, I know
Nightmare.
his nickname. Yeah, it's great. It's Nightmare versus Monster. But let me
Yeah,
ask you a good
mm,
question. That I'm very interested to hear
sure.
your answer. Do you think Tapales actually believes he can beat Inoue?
I believe so. I think his
Mm,
team also believes so. But they recognize that they're an upset. The one thing that I was looking at when you're fighting Inoue, you obviously have the great advantage, is the confidence. It seems like everyone who fought Naoya Inoue is afraid from the start, and you can
mm,
see that on top of the ring when they're moving backward, they were so afraid of the power. And that
mm,
is why when I mentioned I would rather go forward because at the end of the day, if I last for 12 rounds, I'm not gonna win. And I've seen that happen. So I get down in round number three, but I may get a chance to knock him out. But that's just me being a fan and
right.
being a vlogger. But I understand that they may have a different idea. But when I talk to his team, when I talk to the management, because recently we had this awards night here for boxing, and so I talked to the team. Man, what do you think about your fight with Inoue? Oh, Marlon the Palace is confident. Marlon the Palace believe it's up. And then
Mm.
I said that's the first step. So you got to believe against Naoya Inoue, who's everyone he will fight will be the underdog. I think he does believe that he's gonna win.
Well, he did pull up an upset leading up to this title match, right? He
Muruchan
beat
Akhmadjalov. Yeah,
Akhmadaliev.
that
Yeah,
was a big upset.
yeah.
So we are also all leaning to that he's gonna be the upset king now, and he's gonna be the worst nightmare, monster and nightmare. So
Listen,
seems like a good Halloween fight. Oh, it's
that's fair.
Halloween,
It's Halloween.
right?
Right, right, it's Halloween. Yeah, I mean, listen,
What's gonna happen in Christmas Day?
if Tapas can pull it off, then he's a real life Rocky hero. Like I can't hate on that.
If he pulls it off, he will be the first Filipino to be undisputed. Manny Pacquiao didn't even
Oh,
do that, so
good
he's gonna be
point.
the first Filipino. So it's gonna be a big history. I mean, most of us, and I don't want to say this in front of the Filipino because some of us are saying, "Hey, fighting Inoue and fighting the undisputed fight, that's already a winner. Win or lose,
Mm,
man, you're already there. You gotta take it. You gotta really focus hard." So I think they're trying to get all of the all the things like the small things, the conditioning, which is gonna be very important in this one uh because you're fighting a monster, so confidence is one of the key here. You can't fight scared. Here's the thing, we've experienced that with Manny Pacquiao during the days of Manny Pacquiao. We may have the same feeling as what you are, like we're not betting on who's gonna win or not, we're betting on what round the opponent will get knocked out.
right, right,
So you're
right.
probably feeling that with Naoya Inoue right now.
Yeah, most of the Japanese fans are looking at it like that.
You're right, but it doesn't last in the most
Mm,
unexpected way.
it's true. It's true.
Right, like that happened to Manny Pacquiao. It's happened to the best. But during that time, Manny Pacquiao had some, probably some outside issues as well. So that's why
Right,
I was asking about
right. I
Inoue.
heard Manny Pacquiao he wasn't exactly the most disciplined fighter, even though he was a great one, but he wasn't
Yeah, he was
the gym
disciplined,
rat.
but he just had a lot of extracurricular activities because
Right.
he's a celebrity here, much like Naoya Inoue. But I don't know. It does Inoue sing, dance, sing music, play
Well,
basketball,
the
play
thing is,
billiards?
if he did, then his team and his manager they have a great way of covering it up because nobody hears of it. So it's more likely that that's not what's happening.
Mhm.
Japan is a small place, so and word gets around. So
Well, during the prime of Pacquiao, he was the government official. He was an artist,
Mhm.
celebrity. He plays professional basketball. He has record.
He's a
So
professional pool player too, right? From what I heard,
yes,
billiard.
he does a lot of things. And well, he's a special athlete, but I wouldn't
Mm-mm.
say he's not disciplined. I think because I've
Oh
I've
yeah.
covered his training
Mm-mm.
plenty of times, and when he trains, he trains. I don't know how he get the energy because after he trains, he goes somewhere else, be a guest, or
Right, right, right.
do films or
Yes,
movies.
undisciplined was the wrong word. I just heard Freddie Roach talking about how he had some drinking, gambling problems.
He does
It
does a
was
lot of
way back. Yeah.
yeah, way back. He's a very renewed man right now.
Mm-mm.
Like for some time, and some of us even think, man, since he become a renewed man, the like the killer instinct, he was nice to his opponent. So there's some push and
Mm-mm.
pull he
I'm
could have,
sorry, this is
but
totally off topic, but have
it's
you heard
okay.
that Manny Pacquiao is gonna box Floyd Mayweather in
Oh yeah, we could talk
Japan
about that. Yeah.
for,
Yes.
for New Year's? He
Um,
said that in some interview just the other day. He says, I mean, they're working on it, but he's gonna box Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition in
I
Japan.
actually had that news like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
so
crazy is
some
that?
insider, yeah, some insider from Team Pacquiao. I asked for permission. Is this good info? He said, "Yeah, Floyd Mayweather is okay with it, but it's not official. But you can talk about it." So it's gonna happen in Japan. There's just maybe 1%, 1% thing that it needs to be. But Floyd Mayweather gave a nod on it because before that there was an announcement and an official press con already that he's gonna fight Buakao,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
kickboxing
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, what happened
kickboxing
to
legend.
that? I wanted to watch that.
So that's gonna be moved to March because that's
Ah,
Floyd Mayweather, right? So
right.
Floyd Mayweather. And you guys in Japan loves Floyd Mayweather. Horizon loves Floyd Mayweather. You do a
I
lot
mean,
of
we
you love
love
to.
him, but it's actually because we hate him. He's kind of like the villain.
Yeah, well, I saw the last one with the flowers. Wait, I want to ask you about that
Oh, the
now.
flowers. Yeah.
What happened to that flowers? Why did that Japanese guy throw the flowers?
Well,
What does that mean?
he's a I think
It
he
looks
believe
pissed.
he was a politician and he owned some several establishments like I'm not particularly familiar with exactly what, but he has some kind of nightlife kind of stores within Tokyo.
Hmm.
And apparently Mayweather wanted to go to one of those or something, and he just kind of hates Mayweather for some reason that I'm not particularly aware of. And he kind of told him he can't come to the store. And basically, they had beef, a little bit of a back and forth before the whole flower throwing thing.
Mm,
And
I
so
see.
he basically, with that Ryzen, the Dantai, so the promotion, whoever you can pay a certain amount of money, a lot of money, let's say, and get the VIP seats and have the right to give the flowers to the fighters. So this guy paid a tremendous amount
So
of money to sit VIP and have the right to give flowers to both fighters, and he
wow,
did that because he wanted to throw the flowers on the floor in front of Mayweather. But
wow.
he's not just being an idiot because he kind of did that and got a lot of clout and a lot of eyes on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well,
that
he
was
did
the
that to
that was.
Floyd
I mean, I
Mayweather.
think
Yeah.
yes, exactly. I don't know if it was because he hated. I mean, there was a part of him that hated Floyd Mayweather, but a part of it, I think, a bigger part of it was he wanted the attention of throwing the flowers on the ground, and then like everyone was kind of talking about the
We
flower
were talking
throwing.
about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Why do you throw the flowers? And he
our
made it appear.
headline: disrespected Floyd.
Yes,
Japan disrespected Floyd Mayweather.
yeah, and
Wow.
he made appearances on some big YouTube channels and took advantage of it. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was
Looks
all planned
brave though.
out. Oh, so this
I guess what?
let me tell you something interesting. So there's this YouTuber who fight. There's an MMA YouTuber called Asakura Mikuru. He's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
most
I heard.
popular MMA fighter in Ryzen, and he's famous because of his YouTube channel, not really because he's a great fighter. I mean,
Hmm.
he's a strong fighter, but he's like a YouTuber that fights. So think about it like Jake Paul, a little bit
Yeah.
more, a little bit higher level as a fighter than Jake Paul, but it's something along those lines. And he has this promotion where they fight for 1 minute, and it's like novices fighting each other. And that guy who threw the flowers, he fought in that.
Oh, did he win?
I think he won. I mean, he sucks. He sucks, but he fought in it. So basically, he's the kind of guy that wants that kind of attention. So he's known as the guy who
Ah,
threw the flowers, fights in this 1 minute fight. It's kind of this whole SNS thing.
oh, I see.
So it's
The
just funny as
this
hell.
whole YouTube thing, social media thing's catching up to Japan as well. Like
Oh,
doing
it's big
a
in
lot of
Japan. It's big in Japan.
I see. I do have one question here from one of the followers, and we've been wanting to know this because Inoue is great, but he's been like criticized. What's your thought of Inoue not fighting outside Japan or maybe fighting in the U.S.? Like is it about rules of commission or they just feel like in their home? Because Inoue is saying is well. Forgive me, I'm gonna say this. Inoue is scared. He doesn't want to go outside Japan and just. Why is he fighting only most of the time in Japan, especially the big fights? What do you think?
Um, I do personally want to see him fight in the States and get more recognition in
Yeah.
America. That would be great for me for my own selfish reasons. But as far as for
Okay.
himself, like why would he if he can fight in Japan in his hometown? He doesn't have to travel and potentially probably makes more money that way. And
More money in Japan.
he gets paid a tremendous amount by sponsors. The also if he fights overseas, I don't know how the string rights and all that kind of stuff would work. But in Japan, yeah, he makes I think he'd make a lot more money fighting in Japan than in the States. So there has to be like some kind of big there
But
has
at
to be
some
a
point,
reason for him to go. Like why would you
but
want to
some
go fight
point
in
you
the
need
States?
some American. Because sometimes the historians are Americans, and we want to get some Americans the marketing as well. Do
Right,
you see
right,
him
right.
getting big fights in Japan? I understand that he makes more money in Japan. It seems like that's the most obvious reason why he doesn't want to go out. And although people are saying he's not popular in the U.S. and uh, that might be the case. And if he doesn't fight in the U.S., how is
Right,
he? I
right.
mean, there's an argument he's not getting the number one spot for the pound per pound because he's not fighting in the U.S. because American fans doesn't know him.
Right.
Can you say about that?
Um, um, I think that's irrelevant to where he's fighting. I think what's gonna end up happening is he's gonna be so big that all the Americans are gonna come to him anyways, like we saw with Fulton.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, he's just gonna pay them enough for they're gonna come to him. It's got to go to like Gervonta Davis level, or else he's not gonna fight overseas. Like it's got to be someone that can take Inoue from Japan to America. He's
Do
not
you
gonna
think that's
go on
gonna
his
happen?
own.
The Tank Davis,
Um,
anyway?
I think if Inoue goes to super featherweight and Gervonta is at lightweight, because Gervonta's not going to go to super light. He's too small for that, I believe. So he's going to stay around lightweight, Gervonta Davis. And if Inoue goes to super feather, then they're going to meet sometime. It's just too much of a big fight.
130
So
pounds?
some
I
catch
don't know
weight.
if I don't know if Tank Davis can go to 130. He's already having problem 135.
They'll meet at like 133, 132, something along those lines, I believe.
What do you think is the limit of course, obviously, Filipino has an A division champion and we were already counting the division that is gonna go up. What do you think is
Mhm.
the limit of Inoue?
Well, the thing is, Pacquiao was 8, but he wasn't undefeated in 8 weight
Yes.
classes, right? It seems like he wants to stay undefeated and he likes the challenge, but he doesn't like taking the challenges that are probably impossible, let's just say. So he's realistically being the monster, and I undefeated, maybe super featherweight would be his limit.
130.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the 130 is where he can potentially run into some problems. Probably, I
You don't
think
see him
the
going to welterweight like Pacquiao
no,
or
no, no. That's what
no.
I no. He doesn't. He's not gonna do the impossible kind of
Who
challenges
knows,
like
right?
that.
One fight, one champion. We'll see his performance at 130, and we'll
Listen,
see
I would
one
love
at a
to
time.
see it. I would love to see it, but
One time.
it seems like he's a little bit too smart for that.
Well, if there's a right amount of money, I mean, although some Filipino fans are saying, of course, our argument, we're looking at the best Asian boxer of all time. Well, he's
Mhm.
not gonna be A division anyway, but he's too he could be an undisputed in two division now if he wins against Tapales. Then that's a whole new different accomplishments. Again, Pacquiao has never been an undisputed champion,
Right,
so
right. I mean, they're both great in their different ways.
Yes. Well, we fans, we like to talk about it. The
Right,
greatest of
right.
all time. It's all about
Sure.
arguments, but well, who will they really find out unless they fight each other in their prime?
So true.
It's not gonna happen. Okay, unless someone invented time machine. Um, I want to talk about one of the most popular topic here in the Philippines, and that's Casimero. And did you watch the Casimero versus Oguni fight in Japan by
Yeah,
any chance?
I watched it. Not
The
live, but
live?
not in the arena, but I did watch it live. Yes.
I saw you had a content about it. I couldn't
Yes.
understand it. Tell me more about what you said about the Casimero versus Oguni fight.
When I was watching it live, when I was watching it
Yeah, your
live,
content, because I'm interested. There's a lot of views on that
right,
content.
right,
What
right,
did you
right,
say?
right. Well, to be just to be very frank about it, I wasn't very impressed with Casimero's performance. He was supposed to blow Oguni out of the water and hype up the Inoue Casimero fight, but he looked like he was struggling, and not just struggling. It looked like if the fight continued, he could have potentially lost. Um, it wasn't. It was not an impressive performance. Let's just say that. But it looked as though super bantamweight boxers can take Casimero's punch, because in the bantamweight he would be flatlining people with the same shots he landed on Oguni, and he rocked Oguni a couple of times, but he took it and he was rocked, but he didn't fall down, and he was able to keep on pressing Casimero. So I think we just saw a little bit of the problems you run into when you go up a weight class with the Oguni fight. And even before this fight where he fought I believe the South African, was he South African?
Yes, yeah. Philip Pusingitumba in the
Yes,
Philippines.
we saw the same kind of problems in that fight where he knocked him down, but he did get up and he did keep on pressing forward. And Casimiro, he landed some good shots, but it looks like these bigger guys can take his shots and just keep on pressing forward, keep on fighting. Of course, this is his third fight at super bantamweight. We saw him fight Akahol, but Akahol was not on, he wasn't world level. I love it. I like him, but he wasn't not really a world ranked boxer. So he
was ranked though. He was ranked.
Was he ranked in top 10?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He was ranked during that
Okay.
time.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with you. He's not on the assumed level of Casimero during that time.
Yeah.
So let me clarify this. You think Casimero is about to lose that fight?
I think there was a big possibility that he could have. Listen, he looked tired. And not just that, he didn't. He looked. Of course, he always fights aggressive, and that's why he has a lot of fans. That's why I'm a fan. But in that fight, he was swinging big and missing big and losing his balance very early in the fight, and it didn't look like the best version of Casimero. Is just what it was. It was almost as if he just either he thought he can just land a big shot and knock him out, which is obviously not the way you want to box anyone, or he just, I don't know, how was he training, because he didn't look sharp. And we see him swing and miss big sometimes, but we don't see him do it over and over and over and over again and then start to get tired.
I'm curious as to generally though, what was the consensus among the Japanese boxing fans? Again, from our end, I think we believe as well that this was supposed to be like an audition for the Inoue fight. I heard that the Inoue's manager was watching.
Yeah.
But what was the comment, and what was the like the consensus of the boxing fans? Do they want to see the Inoue versus Casimero fight?
No, sadly the fire for that. I mean, it wasn't very like hyped up even before the fight. It was like, we'll see Casimero.
Okay.
I mean, there wasn't any story. There wasn't a story being made. It was like this was supposed to start the whole drama again and get it in play, with Casimero showing how strong he is at super bantamweight against this Japanese boxer Oguni. he was supposed to blow him out of the water, and then we'll say, okay, Casimero versus Inoue. That's a great one. He can fight. Casimero can be the first challenger for Inoue's undisputed title. It was that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's completely gone. With the casual boxing fans and the hard boxing fans, it's gone. And what Ohashi Kaicho, the manager of Inoue was saying is he has to rematch Oguni and prove himself, and then we can talk from there.
Wow. Okay, so the manager of Inoue wants to see Casimero and Oguni rematch, and
and
talk afterwards. Okay.
Hopefully Casimero
What did you think about the early stoppage? Because we were all like, man, that was anticlimactic. What happened there? Some people would argue, well, they stop it because the Oguni is the this. They stop it because the. What did you think of the headbutt thing?
I'm not a doctor, but I guess it just, I don't know. The cut was in a bad spot, I guess. Yeah, I can't argue with
I've seen Inoue fight with one eye.
Right, but there's no blood dripping in your eye, which is technically not, supposed to stop a fight. If you can't see, you can't fight, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of it. But it is what it is, and it's too bad. But I hope they have a rematch.
Would you say that there's more hype with Neri and Inoue than Inoue and Casimero?
At this moment, yes, just because Casimero's performance was unimpressive against Oguni.
Among Japanese fans, because here in the Philippines, Casimero is really popular. He has a lot of fans, a lot of avid and like solid fans. What we call. I want to know, how is Casimero, or who are the popular Filipino boxers, active boxers in Japan? Is Casimero one of them, or not really?
When you say popular, do we mean liked? Because he's popular, but he's not liked.
He's not liked.
He's not loved.
What do you mean?
But he is popular. Like, we all know his name, and if he's gonna fight, a lot of us will watch it. But we don't like him. I mean, I'm not talking about me.
Why don't you like him? What about him?
Well, there really shouldn't be any reason why we dislike him, because he fights aggressively. He puts on exciting fights. He just calls our superhero, Naoya, Japanese turtle. That's most fans.
That reaches you guys.
Most fans don't like that. I think it's hilarious. I think it's funny. And every time Casimero is asked about Inoue, we see Casimero smile. Like, it's this is where I say my lines. So I like it. I really like it, because we need people to call Inoue out. We need someone to make the fights exciting. I'm a fan of it, but yeah, that's the reason. That's the main reason why the majority of the Japanese fans don't like Casimero. A lot of the people involved in boxing, like the boxers themselves, the boxing legends, aren't really fans of Casimero either. So
aren't. Sorry,
they're not really.
Aren't. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's very rare to actually hear any boxer say something positive about Casimero, to be honest. Up until
Japanese boxers, you mean, right? Japanese boxers, you mean? Okay.
Yeah, up until the Oguni fight, it was kind of like, we have to admit that he's strong, because he's a 3-weight world champion. We have to say that he's strong. But after the Oguni fight, everyone has a reason to just say that, oh, he wasn't that great after all.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at within Japan at the moment.
So his stocks went down after that fight, basically.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Do you see a chance that Inoue versus Casimero is still happening?
If he can beat Oguni in the rematch, if he can finish him or beat him impressively, then he'll be right back in there.
Yeah. And what do you think would be, because some of us, of course, there are critics of Casimero here as well, but there's no reason to fight Casimero because he doesn't have a belt. What can he offer?
Well, if he can beat Oguni, that would draw his interest. Before the Oguni fight, Inoue was asked of who he wants to fight at super bantamweight, and he said Neri and Casimero.
Yes,
but after
there was an interview as well after. I couldn't really figure out exactly.
He said,
what did you say?
After he said, I lost interest in Casimero.
He lost interest in Casimero.
Yeah, he said when he wants to fight tough guys, he wants to fight the best, and
Did he say
Casimero.
that Casimero is not strong? Because there was some translation that Casimero is not good or not strong, something
He
like
didn't say
along those
not
lines.
strong. He didn't say not strong. He just said he was, he's not the best. Like, yeah, he was kind of. He didn't impress me with that performance. It was kind of like I lost interest.
Okay. All right. Well, because in the Philippines, Casimero really he's loved by a lot of people here. But obviously, I also feel that he might be like not focused so much on his training. Uh,
Let me ask you: did he train for this Oguni fight?
that's what they said. I mean, like Jake Paul, right? So he's
Yes.
like kind of like right now something like that in the Philippines. so
But
so
a
if you look at
three-weight
this,
world champion, right? But a
like
three-weight
if you
world
look at
champion.
Wikipedia, it says YouTuber boxer.
No way. No way.
What do you think about YouTuber? Because they have two channels. Like and his trainer is also a YouTuber. His brother is a
Right.
YouTuber, so they
Okay.
put up
That's
a lot of content and they're showing that they're training or not. But what we've seen during the fight, I mean, it doesn't look like he was training enough.
mm-mm.
Um. So yeah, well, we couldn't tell for sure, but you seen the videos. I think the one thing that's a problem of Casimiro most of the time is like losing weight, and he said he got sick. He got sick
Mm,
before the fight.
mm,
He has some flu or some colds
mm.
during the fight. That's
Right.
what he said. That's why he was underperforming.
I guess we don't know. Right, right. So he's kind of this YouTube SNS character in the Philippines, and that's why he's popular.
Yeah, he's popular. It's more he's be in social media, yes. Like social media us, we talk about him a lot of time because the fans love to listen to what's the drama happening about his coaches, about about the other vloggers that they're interacting.
Right, right.
So because they like to respond to like criticisms. So you
Uh,
criticize them an army of fans, so you got to be careful if you say especially Filipino, they understand. Casimero did not train. Casimero, like what I said after the fight, like Casimero, he didn't lose that one, but I felt he lost because he lost the opportunity to fight. He may have lost the opportunity to fight Inoue. So, and people are gonna get angry.
right, right. Are they boxing fans or they're just Casimero fans? They just like
Much like
Casimero's character.
Inoue. I wouldn't say that
Okay.
Inoue is the same level. Like there's a Casimero fan and there's a boxing fan, and there
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
are I mean, I respect that they're defending Casimero, but I gotta say what I saw. Well,
Mhm.
for yourself, like, well, you've been following Casimero as well. You got an interview with him. What do you see? Did he? Do you think we've seen the best of Casimero from your point of view? What was wrong on the last fight from your point of view? What can he do better? And I don't know because here in the Philippines, some fans are asking for a change of coaching or
Mm,
team.
mm.
What do you think?
I don't know what's going on with his coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm not at his gym, so I have no right
Mm-hmm.
to talk about that. But
Sure.
if it's his brother being his head trainer, then it's probably a good chance that he has to get someone else in there that can just tell him
Why is it
what to
not
do.
good to have family as
Um,
your coach?
I it can be or it can be disastrous. It's usually one or the other, as
Mm-hmm.
far as your family members being your coach, including your father. But boxers are the kind of a lot of them they have these wild characters, so they need someone to just keep them in line and they like be their guidance or they kind of someone to guide them basically is usually what they need is from what I understand. And I don't know if your older brother who likes doing YouTube is gonna be that. But as far as Casimero's best days, I thought when he fought Duke Micah and Tete, that was his peak.
Yeah, that's the best version
That's the best
I believe as
Casimero
well.
we've ever saw, and I think super bantamweight is he's just too. I've been saying this a lot, but I think dudes think he's too small for that weight class, and
But
they
Inoue is
just
smaller though. What's the
not in
height of it?
height
Five
and
four, right?
frame. He's like
Uh,
165 centimeters. He's taller than Casimero a bit. It's just his frame is also bigger than Casimero.
bigger.
Yeah, he's got broader shoulders. He's kind of just a bigger dude, is from what I see. Inoue cuts a lot of weight to make his weight class, and it's not like he's heavily muscled either. Whereas Casimero is short, stocky, he can drop a lot of water weight instantly and put it back on. It's a lot easier for him to cut the weight. I think bantamweight was where he was the strongest. I think his peak was when he fought Duke Micah and Tete. I do believe when they first scheduled Inoue versus Casimero, during that time would have been a competitive fight because Inoue wasn't the Inoue we know now. That was when he was fighting Jason Maloney, right? He was
I
not
believe
as
that too.
impressive. He was not as impressive, but when he fought Donaire at the rematch with Donaire, that's when I realized that no, Casimero kind of lost his moment. I mean, it wasn't his fault; it was COVID, right? But that's when the difference between those two just became evident.
Yeah. Inoue is on a different level now, and with the improvement,
Right?
with
Yeah,
going up in weight, it's only
yeah,
had
yeah.
make him stronger.
It's too bad we couldn't
But
see it happen at that time. It really is too bad because it would have been a great fight.
I am personally still interested in seeing that because aside from obviously we got Marlon the Palace already there, the storyline for Filipinos, we call, and I'm sorry for this, and I respect Inoue, but a lot of Filipino fans are calling Inoue scared of fighting Casimero.
Right, right.
I
I get those
obviously want to
comments
see.
too.
You see that in the comments too?
I get those comments too.
Yeah. And how do you feel about it?
I think I don't. Obviously, I don't think is running away from Casimero. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But
Don't you think he's afraid? I mean, why is he not fighting Casimero? Again, that's the question that everyone is asking. Why don't you
well,
fight Casimero? He's saying all
that
these bad things to you.
right, right. I'll answer that. Why should he fight Casimero? What does Casimero have to offer him?
Right now,
Uh,
yeah, I did say this. I get a lot of heat, but because he was supposed to fight him if he wins against Paul Butler. That was supposed to be him next. They were supposed to fight in the U.S. That didn't happen, the COVID thing, and then he has the belt, the WBO belt. He lost that one due to issues that should have not been an issue, but
yeah.
it happened. So, well, for us, we're leaning towards on the storyline. The Casimiro, the bad guy, Inoue in Japan, like it's just personal thing. Probably because Inoue said he's gonna have 2 or 3 fights in the super bantamweight before moving up to
Yes.
featherweight. Because I don't see, is there any other boxer though in the super bantamweight that could be on the prospect list aside from maybe Akhmadelev, Neri, or Casemiro?
There's an Australian boxer called Sam Goodman, I believe, who's
Yeah,
ranked.
yeah, he's emerging.
He's
He's
actually
emerging.
ranked number
Yes,
one in two of the major organizations. I
he
believe
wasn't there
IBF.
before. Yeah,
Right, right. He's
he
there.
was
There's
just
some.
emerging. He had a couple of good fights. He defeated Rais Salim. That was unexpected as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like 15 fights, 15 wins. He's not a hard puncher by any means, but he's technically good. He's kind of like Jason Maloney, but more athletic.
Mhm.
There's some rumors of him fighting Neri in December. We'll see if that happens. That's a great fight.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter. None of them are going to beat Inoue. Like, I like to just
Yeah.
put it straight.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter. Like, I love
Okay.
Casimero. Like, I'm the biggest Casimero. I'm probably the biggest Japanese Casimero fan you'll ever find.
Yeah.
I really am.
If
But
mm,
like, that's kind of why I want to see him fight Inoue, but kind of why I don't want it because he's gonna get whipped so bad. It's gonna be sad, but he's gonna get the biggest paycheck of his life, and that's great
careful.
for him.
Yes, the win is a win. I mean, he's getting a lot of money right now. Thank you to his promoter. I mean, I think he's getting the biggest paycheck. We got this new gym, new cars, everything. He's posting it on YouTube, so that's why we all know a
Right,
YouTuber
right,
thing. If
right.
you got message for Casimiro as a Japanese fan, what would it be? Like Casimiro is probably watching, and his
Right.
team and the fans as well. Go.
Man, uh, I'd like to see the rematch with Oguni, and I would want to see you just whip him and just get the get the fight, and then buy all the cars you want. Let's go a little bit more. We can do it. Let's get that Inoue
Yeah,
fight. It has to happen. Like I'm a fan because it's so unfortunate how he missed it because of COVID, and then he
yeah.
missed this. He lost his belt by not even losing the fight, right? Which is just unfortunate again.
That's
But
so sad. Yeah,
that belt was his key to the Inoue fight, and he lost it.
yeah.
And now he's
That was
getting a
I was. I've been saying that.
he's getting a
Yeah.
third chance here. So let's not fuck this up. Let's get that fight, and let's get that big paycheck. Let's do it.
Are you aware that Casimero had a change of management from the Rigondo
Sean,
fight?
Sean Gibbons,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Change of management.
Yeah.
You aware with the conflicts?
I heard the drama because of I think Asai made a couple of documentaries about that.
Yes.
It was very complicated,
So,
but yeah, I heard his team wasn't very supportive, and they were kind of just to put it straight.
there are different stories. So,
right? Yeah, so it's very unfortunate, but it just shows you how important it is to have the right people around you when you're the champ, right?
yes, that's correct. Japan has been doing great, beating a lot of Filipinos. I gotta admit that we go there,
There
we
was a
get
big
beaten.
there was a big upset though. This Filipino knocked out one of our Japanese champions right at the undercard of Casimero versus Oguni. Did you see that?
Vince Perez.
The first round, he just came in and swarmed him and just knocked him out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's an upset. I don't know if it's a big upset.
It
We
was
want to see
a
Inoue get
big upset, man. It was a big
Oh.
upset. Everyone was bummed out after that because that was the fight right before Casimero, right?
Yes, the
And
Froilan
then the
Saludar.
Japanese champion just got knocked out.
That was
viciously.
unexpected, right?
Yes.
Unexpected.
And then it was very unexpected. And then after that, Casimero was to whip another Japanese champion, so everyone was fucking bummed out. Although the Casimero fight didn't go like that, but yeah, you guys got one.
Yeah, that is one in 10 fights. And the Filipinos win. And whenever we win in Japan, we always complain about the scoring. I gotta say that, but that's the same anywhere else. Would you say that Japanese boxing is now the best in Asia?
As far as the little guy, the
Well,
lighter weight guys,
generally, I mean, Asian guys always has little guys, most as the best boxers in the world. But it's
well,
Japanese now because we believe during the Pacquiao. I mean, a lot of champs Filipino. We've been winning internationally, but now that you have Inoue and we've seen they have Inoue, they're motivated. The other boxers are motivated with Inoue. Does that mean that with the other Takeshi? Or the other boxers that you had is Japanese boxers the best in Asian right now?
I think at this moment, yes, at this moment, there's some strong Japanese champions besides Inoue that don't get the popularity and recognition.
Yeah, Kenshiro. I met the guy.
Kenshiro
He looks like he's not a. He doesn't look like a boxer, like a little kid, like cute. He smiles at you.
That guy's vicious though, and he really should be more popular in Japan, but no one really cares, sadly. And
why is Inoue so popular?
It's
there's a lot of.
It's a good question. It's a good question. And
does he have a YouTube channel?
That's the thing. This is the thing. He doesn't. He doesn't do any SNS. Pretty much, he tweets and does Instagram and the very minimum, but let's be honest, it's not even him doing it.
Yeah.
Basically he does none of that, and he's just popular because he's a boxer. It's very obviously we have to mention the fact that he does knock people out viciously, and his highlights are
But isn't it the same with Shiro and Nakatani?
No, not to the level and because he has 25 fights and I think 22 KOs, that's spectacular. And that attracts fans. But also another thing that I realized of why is so popular is because he does fight for the fans, and he does voice that very loud. Like in the media, he's always faithful to say, for the fans, I want to show an impressive performance, and for the fans, I want to knock my opponent out. Even for this Tapales fight, for the fans, I'm gonna show how strong I am. He voices that very clearly, and then he kind of leads his fans. And Kenshiro
you got a good team.
Yeah,
you got a good PR team. Like he's sounding like a politician. Like, I'm doing it for the people.
Yes, yes, he says it, but he also shows it in his fights and he backs it up.
Yes.
Like the way he
Which is a good
KO'd.
thing. I mean, I think for most of boxing fans, whether we say, yeah, we like to see boxing skills, but obviously you want to see people getting knockout, right?
Well, if they have the boxing skills and they have the politician talking skills, or like they know how to draw people's interest. When they have those two, they become insanely popular, which is Inoue and
Yeah.
Naoya. Usually, we
Okay.
only have one, right? Like Kenshiro and Nakatani, they have the boxing skills, but they can't draw people to them, and they can't lead their
The
fans.
charisma,
Charisma,
right?
and then we have the Jake Pauls and the people who have the
Yeah,
charisma but not the boxing
the
skills,
boxing skills.
right? Then you
Yeah,
have those
I know I have only 1 hour. I want to be respectful
Okay,
of it. If you don't mind me like picking
sure,
some
sure, sure.
questions.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, but I'm glad I'm able to talk to you. We do this more often whenever there's a Filipino Japanese
Definitely,
fighting, like we do.
definitely.
Um, honestly, the Tapales and Inoue, I really want to dig in some more in depth on really finding out what would be that key for the Palace to win. I just couldn't find like a good explanation yet.
Uh-huh.
Rather aside from what I've said, like we need a lot of prayers. We gotta need to move forward and risk it.
Right, right, right.
Um, I'm curious, however. Of course, we want to see Inoue fight internationally, but there's one popular Japanese boxer or fighter, Tenshin. Do you see
Mm-hmm.
Tenshin and Inoue in the future? Like
Tenshin, it's interesting how you
Nasukawa?
know Natsuko Tenshin. Yeah, yeah. Is he recognized
I
in
think
the
he fought
Philippines?
the Filipino boxer. I was there when he fought the Filipino boxer, Pita Polinar.
Oh, you mean Take Yoshiki.
No, yeah. Tenshin Nasukawa and Take. I'm getting confused. So, yeah.
Take Yoshiki versus Inoue. They're from the same gym, I believe.
No,
They're
the
both.
Tenshin now.
You're
Tenshin
talking about
Nasukawa.
Tenshin? Oh,
Yeah.
Tenshin. So he had two pro fights, Natsukawa Tenshin, right? He was a kickboxer. He went 42-0. He is the greatest kickboxer on the planet.
Do you see that happening though? Japan versus
Versus
Japan.
10 versus probably not. Probably not.
Uh,
I mean, what would have to happen is it would have to probably be the champion, and Tenshin would be ranking number one and get the mandatory challenger spot, and then it would happen, but it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely, I
okay.
believe, because by the time he fights in super bantamweight at this moment, by the time he's ranked number one, I doubt is going to be there.
Hmm.
So it looks like the timing is off. But those are the two most popular guys in Japan, boxing wise. Even
Okay.
though Tenshin only had two fights, he's kind of a SNS star with skills and the charisma. So he was as popular as a kickboxer, as he was a superstar as a kickboxer, and now he's in boxing. So all his fans followed him to boxing. So as
Right.
weird as this may sound, he's on the same card as Nakatani and Kenshiro, but he's far more popular than those two.
Yeah, because of social media. Okay.
Yeah, and this kickboxing thing. But yeah, that fight's not gonna happen. I actually met him a couple of days. I've had his dad on my channel a couple of times. They're an interesting. So that's another father-son combination that works, but they have it's very interesting what's going on there.
On December, the fight of the Palace in Inoue, are you gonna be watching it live or?
I'll watch it live. I'm not gonna go to the arena, but I'll definitely watch it live, and I'll definitely watch it live
You
for
don't go
sure.
to. That's a big fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I usually don't go to the arena. I would like to watch on screen and
Mm-hmm.
live stream and then make a video right afterwards. I'm a YouTuber. It's kind of my job.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's
Yes.
what
Yes.
I do.
We'll talk again. I don't know if I could schedule sometimes when the fight is close, but because I do really feel that the Palace has a chance to knock out Inoue.
Oh, that's interesting. Are you gonna put some money on it? I bet he's like times five, over five times the
Yeah.
odds.
Yes. Yeah. So, with a lot of prayers and I think motivated. I think he's I like what I said, confident about this fight, and that's the key. I think there's a chance.
Listen, it'll be a good fight, and I hope he
Okay.
does go and do what you said,
I'll
goes
be
right
ready
out
when I
there.
invite you again to talk more in depth about the keys to win and the chances. But I understand where you're coming from. Inoue is the monster. But yeah, well, I guess we're gonna have to see, and hopefully we see Paul, Douglas versus Tyson too.
That would be great. That would be great. Oh, by the way, when are you gonna go see Tapales in at his gym?
I don't know yet their plans, but I'll try to get back with you. You want to get some interview with the guy?
No, you can just. I just want to hear. I just want to know what he said. I just want to know what he's thinking.
He said he's gonna be the biggest nightmare of.
Okay.
That's the thing. So,
Right.
that's the only thing I can share with you. He's confident about the fight. His team knows that he's an underdog. So and like what I said earlier, I think he can take punch more than probably the other guys that he fought, and he's in his prime.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that interview you're gonna have with him.
Hmm. There you go. I don't have any other question. Maybe you have anything for me because it's 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Oh,
I want to be respectful. We can talk about other things that like
let
the
me think.
Tyson Fury
Let
thing.
me just. Oh yeah, there's a lot to talk about, but let me. Okay, just one thing. Is no need. What's
Yeah.
gonna happen with No Nito Donaire from here? I'm a
Uh,
big fan.
the last thing I heard from Niti Denari, he's not gonna retire. He's gonna continue to fight.
Oh, he's gonna continue to fight.
I don't know yet the when and where, but I know that he, like, mentality wise, he's a fighter. He wants to continue to fight, and if he believes he can still be the best out there, man, his defeats comes from champions. So like, if he wants to just fight and maybe go down a little bit, he can still win.
Yeah,
But he's
it's
been
true.
fighting champions, right? So
It's true.
that's up to him.
Yeah, what a legend. What a
Yes.
legend.
I mean, he's done. He's. I'm the biggest. Before I was a Pacquiao fan, a Denier fan. So I mean, he's done everything. I got even the jacket of Donito. I think it's the second most popular, in my opinion, in the modern boxing era, next to
Yeah.
Pacquiao,
Yeah,
in the Philippines.
I mean, at this moment, the Japanese boxers might be a little bit over the Philippines, but if we're talking about of all time, then we have Inoue and Naoya, but you guys have Pacquiao and Donaire. So
Yeah.
we got one, you guys got two superheroes.
So yeah. So anyway, I want to say thank you for being here. Hopefully we could do this again. I'm truly grateful and an honor to have someone like you. Maybe you wanna to promote your channel. So a lot of people wanted to know how did I get you? Where can I where can I you see you have some English content, right? Or is
Some
it
we have some content we put the translations on, but it's very yeah, there's a couple of breakdowns. So Family Time FT is the one you guys want to go to. So check it out. There's some English content on there. That'd be cool.
all right. Shane, thank you very much.
Thank
And
you for having
domo
me.
arigato gozaimasu.
Hopefully we can do this
When
again
I get back
before
to
the
Japan, I'll reach out
yeah.
to you.
Oh yeah, that'd be great too. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Shane. All right. What an honor to have one of the well, I would say, although I don't know much, YouTuber from Japan because I couldn't understand most of them, but Shin has about 100,000 followers already on YouTube, and I've seen a lot of his content, high quality. So if you want to check him out, KT Cast and Family Time FT. Just follow him on YouTube, and hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Again, if you're listening to this and there's some part that you wanted to get, you can get it, and just not longer than 1 minute. So just put the credits. Okay, so I guess we're done here, and I don't know if I should continue with. Maybe I should do another live to talk about other things, but I'm really happy. Do you want me to do more of this kind of interview? Okay, I'll be reading some comments before I go. Congratulations, Liams. Big fan of Donari. Also, Mr. Shin represent for the sport and carries himself well. Looking forward to it next. Okay. All right, guys. I guess I gotta say good night to you guys for now, and I'll regroup and I'll see you again. And we'll have more. Actually, we'll have more interviews. Not just in boxing, but in basketball. I do have a lot of things in store for you. So I'll see you again, guys. Peace, love, respect, and let's just support our boxers. That's no problem with me. Whether you love or you hate me, just support boxing, and I'm good with that. Salamat, boom boom pow. I'll see you again next time.